Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to do a video because last night's video I got a comment that I found was something I wanted to kind of talk about actually, and the comment was, and I'm not offended by it at all, I just thought it was actually a great comment that I thought would be great to talk about. So I was talking about the huge investment that I have into this baby, and it sparked someone to ask the question or comment about not really being able to enjoy the doll when their value is so high, and what would be the point if you're afraid to, you know, handle them, I guess. And I thought that would actually be a great topic of discussion. You guys know how I like my topics of discussion. I think that with a hobby like this, it's always great to talk about things that are on your mind. And this is one question that's not, it's been brought up by multiple people over time. I think because I've had a large number of high value silicone dolls come and go from my collection. And I thought, what a better time to talk about it. So in my last video, I was speaking about how very fortunate I feel to have this beautiful baby in my collection. I've had a lot of really, really beautiful dolls. I've not kept a lot of them for very long, except for Janica would be the exception to that rule. And when I decided to give up Janica, even though I had her twice, because she's still one of my very all-time favorites, and she absolutely was a dream baby for me. And if you hear any growling and playing, it's because Rue is outside my nursery, and she seems to like to make an appearance every time I do a video. So sorry if you hear the noise in the background. I do try my best to have a quiet setting to do my videos. It doesn't always work out for me though. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. When I made the decision to part with multiple dolls in order to bring this particular baby home, I was nervous at first, I won't lie. I definitely was concerned that, oh my gosh, what if this baby doesn't live up to my expectations? It's such a huge amount of money to invest, and I'm getting rid of, you know, I'm parting with multiple very much loved dolls in order to try to bring her home. And I also, part of that was I had multiple Romy Stridum silicone babies previously that I didn't bond with at all. And it's not because they weren't beautiful, it was just something about the dolls that I just didn't bond with. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that other people don't love and enjoy them. I think that's why I stuck with only Claire babies for such a long period of time, because I knew that I really just bonded better with them for that time period. So when I saw this baby, fell in love with her, wanted to figure out how to bring her home, I still had those, you know, doubts and hesitation in my mind. And also the amount of putting all of my eggs in one basket, so to speak, with financially investing in one doll versus, you know, for the amount of money I spent on her, I could have, you know, 3 or 4 dolls. So that was also part of it. So yeah, those thoughts all crossed my mind when I decided I wanted to bring her home. And in the waiting period of receiving her, once I had sold on the other dolls, and had literally nobody in my nursery except Amy Webb. Amy Webb is never going to leave. But I don't also really play with her. She's just here for looks. I don't tend to monkey around with her a whole lot. I just change her once in a blue moon. I was a nervous wreck waiting for this baby to arrive. I was scared out of my mind that I wouldn't bond with her, and then I would have parted with these very, very special dolls that I knew I had a great bond with, especially Janica. But to my happiness and astonishment, when I unboxed this doll, and when I opened her up and saw her and looked her over, I instantly fell in love with her. I have to say that I've had those few moments of dolls here and there that I instantly opened the box and was like, oh God, what did I do? I don't like them, or there's something about them that I knew immediately I wouldn't like. I have been most of the time fortunate because almost every doll I've had I've really enjoyed in one way or another. May not have been the doll of my dreams, but I've always, for the most part, liked them and only had a couple of bad experiences. Because pictures don't show everything. Even videos don't show everything. It's very hard to get what a doll looks like in person and every tiny detail of them. And that's how you learn to know what you like in dolls, is through having them. You can't base what you're going to love over a picture or an auction or someone's video. It's just very, very hard until you have the doll in your hands, can feel the doll, especially with silicone. For me, a big part of the silicone is the kind of silicone, because every doll artist makes them and uses a different mixture, and we could all be talking about EcoFlex 20, but they're all going to be different depending on who poured them and their techniques. So I have truly found that for me, I have gone through many, 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 many silicone dolls in my collecting time, and come to realize that for me, the way to figure out what was right for me is to experience them in person. And luckily I haven't lost too much money doing that, because I've always picked good dolls, thank goodness. But I do know that part of the difficulty with collecting silicone dolls, or any doll, is that a lot of people lose money because, you know, they sell at a loss. I've only had to take a loss a couple of times on my dolls. Like I said, I've been very fortunate to pass them along and get very good prices for them. So back to my original point of this doll. Even though she is a huge investment, and I'm talking huge investment, I 100% do not regret adopting this doll. Not for 1 second. I am thoroughly, completely content and happy with her. I think she's she's the most amazing doll I've ever had in my collection. And to answer the question of how, you know, what's the point if you don't feel like you could handle her a lot? It's not that I don't think I can handle her a lot. I just choose to handle her less. I'm a type of collector that I don't pick up my babies and carry them around the house with me, or sit in bed holding them. I do that occasionally, but it's not a common thing. The way I enjoy my dolls is I like to buy nice clothes for them and different outfits. I like to find really unique, beautiful outfits for each baby. And then I like to look at them laying in their crib and or stroller, or take them out for a walk. But I don't necessarily need to be holding them all the time. It's just my way of collecting. Everybody has a different type of collecting person. For me, it's more of I want to look at them laying there looking beautiful. Like right now, I look at her laying in her crib, and it warms my heart. It makes me just so happy to have her. And that to me is my enjoyment. Do I handle her quite a bit? Absolutely. Probably more than some people handle their dolls. I change her probably at least a couple times a week, sometimes even on a daily basis. On weekends, especially when I get new outfits for her, I change her lots. I handle her lots. And she's a very sturdy, well-made doll. The quality of the silicone that Romy Stridham used is really nothing short of the best. I've had conversations with Romy about, you know, the delicateness nature of silicone and the durability of it. So I feel very, very confident that this doll will stand the test of time. And even though I wouldn't ever bathe her, I'm sure she could be bathed, because I have friends that have Romy Stridham babies that have bathed them, and they're perfect as the day they got them. So it's just my own preference, I think. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I guess you could call me. I don't know. I'm a little OCD about my dolls. Like, the hair's got to be perfect. The clothing has to be perfect on them, or else I can't, like, go to bed at night. Like, they need to look a certain way for me to kind of settle them in nursery and then be able to walk away for the evening and or days during my work week. So I'm really funny about it. I don't know why. I just am. I'm a little OCD about everything in my life though, so that doesn't surprise me that it carries over into my collecting world of dolls. But you know, I've had the opportunity to sell this baby multiple times over, trade this baby for multiple other dolls that I know I would love, but I don't see that happening at this point in time. I've been tempted, but then when it really comes back down to it is I can't imagine boxing this baby up and sending her anywhere. I feel like she is meant to be here, and every day I wake up, first thing I do before I start my day is I come in and I peek into the nursery and I look at her, and that is how I start my day, and that's a good start for me. It makes me happy. And I guess that's what doll collecting is to me, is, you know, finding the dolls that truly make you happy, you know, and this doll is it for me for right now. And you know, I still don't call her for a forever baby. I don't call any baby a forever baby because I don't think that really exists. If there's anybody that's going to be a forever baby, it's probably going to be Amy Webb, simply because she's the doll that started it all for me. It doesn't mean that I don't love others as much as her, but she's a one-of-a-kind clay sculpt, and not many people actually even want those anymore in their collection, but for me, that's what started doll collecting. I'm a long-time collector. I've always collected dolls of some sort my whole life. And Amy Webb represents what started the realistic doll collecting for me many years ago. So I hope I'll have her in my collection for years and years to come. But for right now, I am obsessed with this baby. Little Abigail. Perfect little baby. I think she's perfect. But look at her. Look at that sweet face. And now I've rambled on, but I hope I've kind of made sense of, you know, what's the point? For me, the point is just to have her, to look at her, see her every day, and know that she is mine. And, you know, it's like the next best thing to having a real baby in my nursery. I literally, you know, my other half loves to show people our friends. He likes to show these dolls because even though he doesn't quite get it, it's the whole shock factor of, holy cow, it looks like there's a living baby in there. So it's kind of fun, even for him, even though he doesn't really truly get the whole doll collecting thing for me. But I love her. I do. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy her. So for all of you collectors out there that don't quite understand, this baby was a long time coming. I've had years and years and years building up to getting such an expensive baby in my collection. Slowly, gradually worked my way up to it. If I had adopted this doll straight out, you know, as a first-time collector of silicone dolls, especially back when they first came out, I can't imagine having a doll. I could have never imagined spending the amount of money I did on this doll, to be honest with you. I will admit that. It takes a while of being comfortable with collecting and knowing what you like before you would want to ever invest a large sum of money in any doll. And these dolls are not cheap, even down to, you know, the cheapest of all silicone dolls. They're not cheap. Cheap is not a word that should ever be used in doll collecting, I believe. So they are investments, and I've worked my way up to this type of investment over many years. So that is why I can thoroughly still enjoy this doll, even though she's very, very, very expensive baby. I just love her, and I enjoy every single second of having her. So that is how I kind of look at it, guys. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for, I don't want to single you out and say your name, but thank you for posting the comment, because it really brought up a great topic for me to kind of go over, because you're not the first to ask it, and I think it's a very valid question. So thanks for bringing that up, and that's pretty much it. And my phone is ringing, so I'm gonna cut it off there, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.